Hello, family. Welcome to another episode of Delightful Insight on Elorasong, where we are focused on exposing joy in the journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed, please do, or simply just share the video. And today's topic is time travel to 30. Now, if you looked at a couple of the previous episodes, it was 10 and 18. Now we're talking about age 30. For me, it was 11 years ago. For a few of the people that have responded to my questions, it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, even. So, first of all, let me go ahead and share the responses with you, and then we'll roll into mine, okay? A woman from Texas, she stated, 30-year-old self, you can't make someone be with you. Stop beating yourself up and be like Frozen and let it go. A young man from Missouri said, 30-year-old self, corporate America is tough. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Stay true to yourself and have faith in God. God will provide no matter what. Going through the storm, you won't understand, but when the clouds clear up, it'll make sense. A young woman from Oklahoma stated, 30-year-old me, it's okay to be single. Learn to love and appreciate yourself. You have many gifts you are overlooking and not acknowledging, trying to win other people over. Don't feel failure. Don't fear failure. Good, tongue tied. A young man from Texas mentioned, okay, he shared 30-year-old self to stay walking closer to the Lord, which brings me to where I am. To where am I? What? Which brings me to where I am planning to be in 10 years. I can read, y'all. I can read. But anyway, so I thank you so much for sharing your responses, friends and fam. Now, in regards to me and my response at 30 years old, oof, there's so much I would tell myself, but I would say stay encouraged. Keep listening to Fred Hammond. Your steps are ordered. Uh, at that time, when I had turned 30, literally when I turned 30, I was moving out of a stranger's home because I was homeless at the time. And she, when I say a stranger, when I say that, I mean I was introduced to people in a 12-step program, and someone uh, opened up their home to me when they didn't have to. They didn't know me from Jack and Jill. They just saw me at a couple meetings and said, you can stay with me. Because at that time, I didn't have a place to stay. I was living in Houston, and some life changes happened. I was attending a community college, and I remember going to my professor saying, my homework's going to be late. I'm sorry, and at the time I didn't have like a cute little laptop or nothing like that. I was literally using the library and, using the resources that the school gives, right? And I remember going up to my professor saying, my homework's going to be late. I'm so sorry. They were like, why? And I remember saying, because I'm homeless. And when it left my lips, that's when reality hit for me, and I cried. And I cried out of the fear of failure, of being disappointed in myself where I was at. I was only a few weeks away from turning 30. I I was distraught, y'all, and I thought I was hitting a path of making a new path for myself or a new journey. Like the sun was on the horizon, and then just like that, it changed. And what I would tell myself, my 30-year-old self, is God is going to remove people, places, and things out of your life for a reason. They no longer serve you. Uh, this is to grow you up. Adversity is simply bringing you character. The scars will heal, but when you see that little when you see that little scar, that little hint of a scar, don't forget where it came from. It reminds you of where you came from and why it was there in the first place. Um, it's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to feel like all hope is gone, but do not stay there. Stay encouraged. Remember that God is with you. Remember that every step that you are taking is for a reason. You will complete school. You will get your bachelor's degree. You will, you will no longer live in other people's homes, on their couches, on their floors, in your truck, by the water, in Motel 6, Red Roof Inn. It'll get better. It'll get better. So anyway, family, when I turned 30, that's what happened. And I had to change residence again. Like I said, a wonderful woman. Thank you so much, Susan, for your love. Thank you so much. I can't express that enough because that's what that was for me. You and your daughters. Um, so when I left Houston, I transitioned to Corpus on my 30th birthday, Corpus Christi, and that's when that came my new home. And when I tell you, when people ask me, where are you from? I say all over Texas, but Corpus is where I grew up. And when I say grew up, I say grew up spiritually because I learned a lot of life lessons and I got to be exposed to some very awesome people. I learned to trust again. I learned to trust myself again. I learned that I am stronger than I thought and very capable as long as I depend on God first. Whew. So, y'all, 30 was a trip for me. How about yourself? What about you? What do you have to share? What would you like to tell your 30-year-old selves? Or, like I said, if you're not even there yet, what would you like to tell yourself? How would you like to prepare yourself for that time when it comes? Let's be optimistic. What would you do? What would you say? Who would you like to be with? But anyway, thank you so much for sharing, friends and family. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. Again, I can't thank you enough. And once again, I'm wishing you happiness, joy, prosperity, love, and abundance, all things freely given by God. Until next time, check you later. Take care.